Evening guys, James Hamilton back again for another MMA UK live interview. So tonight guys, we're going to be joined by Craig McIntosh. Craig is fighting on Ignite 2, that's on the 12th of May and that's at Alloa Town Hall. So we're going to chat to Craig a bit about the fight, and that's what's happening tonight. Obviously a lot of stuff's going on tonight. See McGregor's been up to no good over in Brooklyn. Give me your thoughts on that, guys, as well. That's been a bit crazy over there. As always as well, guys, any questions you have for Craig, please leave them in the comments and we'll go through them as the interview is progressing. Cool. Right. Won't be too long. Just spoke to Craig a moment ago, so he should be with us very soon. Let's say, guys, so what do you think about the McGregor situation? Has he lost his mind? 2 minutes, guys, just to fix the camera. Yeah, so let's get Craig in. So we invite sent Craig, so you should be with us in a minute, mate. Just give it a second, guys. This sometimes takes a moment to connect. No. From what I can see, Christopher, no news on KS as of yet. I was checking his Twitter and stuff like that as well, and nothing's been put up. Oh, hi, Craig. How you doing, mate?
All right.
But interesting old night with the McGregor stuff and that going on. I like the mug. So,
all right. How are we doing?
Very good, mate. Very good. Quite happy to speak to you, mate. I was quite glad to hear you're getting back in the cage. It's been a wee while. Just before we go on, it's 12th of May, Alloa Town Hall, and that's for Ignite 2. Obviously, thanks for joining us, mate. The first thing I wanted to ask you was, obviously, it has been a while since you've been in the cage. Just over 2 years now since you last fought. Is that correct? Yep. So how?
Right, man. Had the last fight Vanguard a couple of years ago.
Yep. How does it feel to be back in that fight camp and getting ready for a fight after being away for it?
It's not too different. I've kept really busy with jiu-jitsu tournaments in my time out, so it's like I spent a lot of time just doing that and kind of just enjoy it. Really, I've just been trying to throw myself in against the best guys that are out there in jiu-jitsu, because you always have this sort of thing in the back of your head, just like wondering what, wondering how good people can get. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes, like throughout your journey, you kind of sometimes you'll roll with somebody and you're like, oh shit, they're fucking really really good, and then it makes you think, right, okay, I need to get to that level. Do you know what I mean? Something that always sort of resonates with me is when I heard an interview with McIntosh,
Yep.
and he talks about when he rolls with Marcelo Garcia. He was training for a fight camp and he rolls with Marcelo Garcia, and he said that he got pissed off with Marcelo Garcia basically because Marcelo Garcia was kind of like letting him get some positions and that and like fucking about with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's stuff like that really. I mean, it makes me think, like, how good can you get when you realise that there's a guy that can fuck about with McIntosh and not really like try that hard. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I just wanted to test myself in competition. I've been trying to really put myself in with some of the best guys in the UK that are willing to at least have matches with me. I had a good wee match with like Ellis Younger, some other guys. Just been entering every tournament I can, really, jiu-jitsu wise. Preferably the ones where like all rules are in, heel hooks, all that shit. Yeah. Because so the thing that's quite off-putting about jiu-jitsu is there's a lot of like shitty weird rules where where you can't really like reap the knee and all this shit, and it's just like it just gets a wee bit got like half the time I'm doing jiu-jitsu tournaments I'm asking the referee what the rules are during the match. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like there's sometimes too many rules like for in jiu-jitsu, but the Naga and stuff like that, which I'm actually going down to do tomorrow, those are quite good with rules. You can neck crank, you can twister, you can heel hook, you can do all sorts of stuff to people.
Do you feel like that's a sort of hindrance with jiu-jitsu then, the fact that there's so many different rules? I know obviously EBI's growing a lot, that's becoming quite popular now, obviously submission only. So do you think it would benefit then, especially over in the UK, if we had uniform rules for jiu-jitsu?
I think both is good. So you've got I think it's good that you've got the gi stuff and everything like that as well, and got their own set of rules. And I understand the reasoning behind it and stuff like that, but I just don't think it's. I just think it's a wee bit too pernickety, and it sometimes breed the same way that football tends to breed bad athletes, because of like all the diving rules and stuff like that. I feel that sometimes the sport jiu-jitsu breeds, the easiest way to put it is pussies a lot of the time. The guys that are like, oh, and oh, I fucking put his elbow in my face, or oh, that shoulder pressure, and just things like that. I just feel like sometimes people whine a lot when it comes to jiu-jitsu sometimes.
So you obviously stopped competing in MMA for the time you did and just purely focusing on your grappling. How much stronger do you feel now in that side of things, the grappling side, versus you 2 years ago, since your last say MMA match or fight rather?
A couple things of position. You learn the importance of position a lot more. When you watch most fights I lost, it's probably because I've dived on submissions and maybe gave up position if I've not got it. So just that way of being more certain, when you've got something, just making sure that you've 100% got the opportunity. If you're going to go for a submission, just make sure that you've got the opportunity, especially, and just really understanding the importance of position. Sometimes until somebody does that to you and puts you in a position where you're maybe in a advantageous position, you don't really, it doesn't really hit home with you. I mean, my coaches have told me that for years. So it's not like I don't know that. It's just that until somebody does it to you, sometimes it doesn't hit home. About a year ago or so, I had a role with Alex Enland. He's obviously a really good fighter, and he managed to get me in mount, and he done this thing which was quite cool. He kind of trapped me in mount and like done this thing where he was just wearing away, and no matter what I was doing, he was managing to hold me in mount, and like done this cool thing where he was trapping my arm, and had a wee bit of conversation with him after it, and it was horrible. It was really solid position, and what he was kind of explaining to me was that like anybody can sub anybody kind of on any given day, but like if you can hold somebody down and control them for an entire round, no matter what, that kind of shows a lot more dominance than just submitting somebody. Whereas my approach to rolling was always just submit people as many times as you can in a round. So it changed my mindset a wee bit. I still try and tap people loads of times, but just understand the position inside the things a wee bit better.
It's kind of, just when you're saying that, the first name that pops into my head is Khabib. He's not known for submitting guys, but he just controls guys, and you just see the fight leaving them, and they seem to lose the will to continue when they're fighting them. So that's the first name. Just when you mentioned that there, I immediately thought about Khabib, but it seems like that sort of style.
Cool when you see that, because you can actually just be a guy in a submission the way that Khabib does, and they'll probably. I've felt it a lot of times when I've been, especially in my jiu-jitsu tournaments now, when I've been putting pressure on people. I had a match with a guy who was a decent purple belt, and I felt like I was putting pressure on him. I was just, and rather than my usual stuff, just diving on stuff. When I seen it, I was like, "No, I'm just going to hold him here." I was in mount, just hanging out, and then I waited till he basically. I mean, people make mistakes.
Yeah.
But I feel like he just didn't pressure anymore, and he would have rather been submitted than have me crush him for the rest of the match. So, I think that if you put that kind of pressure on people, they're more likely to just give you the submission.
It's almost like just you're forcing the mistake out of them rather than you're looking for it.
Yeah.
So, while we're talking about jiu-jitsu, obviously I know you're competing. Just tell us who you're competing against.
And fighting,
I'll get that one. Just while we were talking about jiu-jitsu, you're obviously you're competing against Thomas Hepburn, isn't it?
I've got a match with Thomas Hepburn coming up. That's I think the 24th or something like that.
Yep.
Around about what's the date like? That's at the show that James McIntosh and the crew are putting on, which is really good because they're kind of pushing the sub grappling scene as well in Scotland. It's something I'd been considering trying to put on an event like that, and but as long as there's events like that happening, then I don't care about putting on. I wasn't put it on to try and run a show or anything like that just because I want to compete in them, and I thought like it's something that was missing. But those guys are pushing that now, so I'll get behind it and support it as much as I can, and I think everybody should try and support it as much as they can because it's good to see these sub bumps. I think it's a truer reflection of who the better grappler is.
So would that be then you've got two grappling matches this month then?
I'm going down to do Naga, weighing for Naga tomorrow.
Right.
Then we're weighing. I'm competing in the expert division for that, which is brilliant. My last one, I just got all black belts in my division, so great competition. Do you know what I mean? It's just just get as much hard rounds as possible.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And we'll move on obviously to your fight. So I'll let you tell everybody who you're fighting and obviously give us your thoughts on him as an opponent.
So I'm fighting Paul McCulloch. Fighting him at 73 kilos. I put my name forward for the show, and I was looking at a couple of guys. Maybe like I could probably do like 68, 70, and he had his name forward at 3. So I said I'll take that at 73. That's fine. Looks good.
So how is it leading up to the fight? Is there excitement to get back in there? Are you just looking forward to competing in the cage again?
I'm really, really looking forward to fighting in Alloa. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
My last three times I've fought in Alloa, I finished my opponents in the first round quickly by submission. I don't think anybody's lasted over a minute or two. So it's always an amazing atmosphere. And for a long time, there's not been any shows in Alloa. My old coach John, he used to put the shows on, and there's not been any MMA shows since. So they've started up again, and so I'm just really looking forward to getting to fight there and perform in Alloa. A lot of guys sometimes you get really excited about fighting on bigger shows and stuff like that, but that never really meant anything to me. Like if I just figured like if I can't fight in the UFC and like be the absolute best fighter in the world, then I'd be much happier just fighting in Alloa. Like unless it's the absolute top thing I'm fighting, unless I'm fighting for the world title at my weight class, then I'd much rather just fight in Alloa.
And fighting in your hometown, is there that added pressure knowing all your friends, I'm sure friends and family will travel with you anyway, but knowing a lot of people that are close to you are going to be there, does it add a wee bit of pressure walking into the cage?
Just really excited to fight. You know, I feel like I've got no pressure in this fight. I think it's quite a good situation to be in. I feel like I've not fought in 2 years. You know, I can really go out and just enjoy myself and try and have a scrap. I've got the next week off work, so I can get away with having my face banged up should it be.
Aye.
I'm just looking forward to fighting. I was putting too much pressure on myself before. I expect out of myself in my fights is just really hard to meet. Even when I win fights, I'm pissed off with tiniest wee details that I do. It's the tiniest wee things. Like I've got a really high standard that I expect of myself, and it's a hard thing to deal with. I never really live up to, even when I win. I never live up to these standards. If I finish a guy in a minute, I'm thinking, why could I not just dominate them over 3 rounds? And it's just the way my mind works. I like to do things. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to MMA. I care a lot about performing well, and I've just never managed to. I always expect too much of myself. So for this one, I'm just want to go out and just enjoy having a fight.
Do you feel that's sort of changing your mindset? Like, do you feel like that's just matured over the last 2 years, stepping away from the cage? It's like you maybe look at things from a different angle.
You just miss it, man. You just miss actually what it's like to get and having a fight. Like, it's a big part of my personality that I like to scrap. Like, it's kind of like a kind of thing because I never do it in fights because I'm quite a technical fighter. But like anybody that knows me in the gym, like I'm always enjoying myself more when I get in a proper scrap. You know, Muay Thai quite a lot with, you know, elbows with elbow pads on and stuff. I'd always enjoy myself more when we'd be throwing down, wrapping each other with elbows, things like that. That's the kind of fight I enjoy, but I know that that's not a smart way to fight, you know. But that's what.
And I've just noticed a couple of questions pop up there. So, with James Anthony asking a wee bit earlier, who's the harder brother? Obviously, referring to your brother Stevie.
Aye, probably Stevie.
Steve. Actually, there's something I wanted to ask you. I heard a little story about you. I believe it involved some alcohol in a bandit in your head, a fruit machine.
All right, aye. Well, that's quite.
So just tell me a wee bit about that.
I've not drunk for about 10.5 years or something like that.
Right.
So one of my occasions when I was drunk, I put my head through a bandit, and the glass was quite that thick way,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So like when you put your head, it kind of goes through in the shape of your head. So I kind of had to scrape my head out the full way, and it cut all my head to bits. But I was a bit nuts when I was younger.
So is this one of the reasons you've no drank in quite a while then?
What's that?
Is this one of the reasons you've not drank in a while?
Aye, stuff like that. Just like it's probably a bit deeper than that, but it just doesn't agree with me. I don't need it for anything, man.
Well, at least the fruit machines are safe now, so that's always good.
That's it.
We'll go through some more questions in a few minutes. Obviously, your brother is in there. He's asking why is your face so plain?
Because I'm old plain face.
I've heard them commenting a few times. When did this start, plain face?
I don't know, man. He just fucking makes up pattern and then like starts trying to deflect. He was like he was hating it because we were calling him the Major for a while.
Major?
Because the Major, because he likes his Stone Island gear. He's a bit into his football fighting and that.
Aye.
Football.
Aye. Oh well. Something to bring up with him the next time I speak to him. Who else we go? Callum Murray's asking how's the singing going?
Oh, very well, man. Well, that's the thing. I just thought to myself, you know, I'm going to get this fight out of the way so that I can really concentrate on my singing career. It's better being in shape. I mean, the thing is with the X Factor, you know, we've been called back pretty much every year. Me and Callum with the Singing Ninjas. I don't know if you've heard this, but we're pretty big deal. We're planning on going back to the X Factor. They've been phoning us every year, begging us to come back, but we've not really had time because Callum's been quite busy. He's got his EFC contract out in South Africa and stuff, and you know, so we can't really give the right amount of time to it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to get all the fights out of the way, and then we can really concentrate on our singing career.
Well, American Idol, I hear, is the place to go to as well these days, or The Voice. So these have definitely got options out there. The options.
We're thinking The Voice would be better for us because sometimes with the X Factor, what it is like they're just looking for kind of gimmick acts and stuff like that, whereas we're more about the performance. So I'm thinking The Voice would be better for us.
Well, by any means, if you ever want to perform live in MMA UK, just let us know and we'll hook it up. It could be the platform.
That could be good.
Just to rocket you.
We could even tag him. We done a wee performance actually. What had happened? I ended up doing a boxing match on Saturday night. There's a guy who pulled out at this event, it was it, so I had to do the boxing match. He wasn't very experienced, so we were just messing around. And then what had happened was at the end we managed. Callum was sober as well, so he was hating it. But I've got to do this shit sober all the time, so he now knows how I feel. So at the end, I got the DJ to hit the music, and we done a wee performance in the Alma Town Hall there on Saturday.
Surely there's got to be something on YouTube or something with that.
I just give the Facebook page the Singing Ninjas a like, and you'll see it. When Callum won the Headhunters belt and that, we sung in the cage after it.
That's brilliant. Is there any plans after your fight in May? If you pick up the win, are you planning to get in there and crank out a couple of tunes?
Aye, definitely. If I can get like a quick finish or something, I'll definitely do a wee song after.
Brilliant. We've got James Nimmy asking as well. So you've had some great coaches in Josh and James. Now that you're coaching yourself, what's the biggest lessons and advice you have learned that you could pass on?
I would say, so for other guys that I'm kind of coaching, there's a lot, man. I think when it comes to like time before you fight, you need to take your time before you
Yeah.
fight. I think guys, especially the level like that. I mean, the level of amateurs nowadays in Scotland's went massively. Like I've been doing refereeing a lot of these amateur fights, and some of these amateur fights with guys like 4 and 5 fights, they're looking like professionals already. Some of them are exceptional. So um, I would just say like, and the biggest thing is just take it serious, man. Like too many people think you can half-ass this game and just like mess about. That's one thing I'll always say about every single fight I've ever had. Every single fight I've ever had, I've gave 100% to. So there's never any excuse that I've ever got. Nothing I can ever say. I've always gave 100% to it, and at least that way you know exactly. There's none of this coulda, woulda, shoulda shit.
Aye.
You know what I mean? Like it's not a game you want to mess about with. You need to give it everything, for every fight. Otherwise, you're just going to end up being cannon fodder for guys.
Yeah, aye.
You're going to end up a victim.
The levels
The best
better.
guys, everybody's team. Everybody's trying hard. Everybody's trying to make it all the way.
And just something you touched on there. Obviously, I've seen you reffing at Headhunters a few times now. How did you get into the refereeing? How did that come about?
I think I got asked to do it because I was struggling. Somebody had pulled out to do it. I quite enjoyed it, to be honest. It's something I thought about trying for a while anyway. It's a different aspect for the sport, so it's another way to it's another way to view the sport, another way to sort of see it in a more intimate fashion. But your mindset's got to change because you're there, to protect the safety of the fighters. My big thing when it comes to refereeing is continuous fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Let the fight be continuous, and another thing with that as well is just like when it comes to rules, people grabbing the fence and stuff like that. There needs to be sort of harsher penalties for things like grabbing the fence, because you see people grab the fence and then the referee's like, so the guy doesn't get his takedown because somebody's grabbed the fence and they've managed to stay up, or even worse, they reverse the position, and the referee just shouts, "Don't grab the fence." If somebody gains a position because they've grabbed the fence and cheated, that position then needs to be reversed, and it needs to be an immediate foul, because that person, especially if there's already been a warning for it. So I see. So I feel like when it comes to that, just proper enforcement of the rules and continuous fighting, and then paying attention to people's eyes. The eyes is the biggest thing. You can tell when somebody wants to fight. There was a fight. Kieran Reid was giving me a wee bit of stick for it, and there was a fight with a guy. It was one of the main events anyway, and the boy for Aberdeen was really taking it to the other guy for Paisley.
I believe it was.
Again, he's another example of a guy that looked excellent for an amateur fighter. He looked brilliant, but he was really giving it to the other guy. But the other guy was game as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other guys, he still wanted to fight the full way through it. So, like, that's maybe potentially that guy's biggest opportunity. I didn't realise he took it last minute, but that's potentially that guy's biggest opportunity that he's had. And no matter what, if you're in a fight, you can still win. You see some crazy fights where guys will pull off a wee late guillotine. Don't get me wrong, he was getting dominated from Damon, but he still, in his eyes, he was still, looked like he wanted to fight, and that's the biggest thing. So you can't tell, even if a guy's getting outclassed, you can't tell. The only way you can tell is by looking in his eyes if he wants to go or not. Like sometimes he was getting hit with shots, and he was kind of like going and laughing, sticking his tongue out and stuff like that. So the other boy for Paisley was game as hell, and the eyes tell you everything and a lot of things in life, But with that in particular, you can tell a lot for a guy's eyes if they want to fight or not.
Aye, and it's actually in the same show. It was one of the female fights. Oh God, it was the girl for Headhunters. I can't recall her name, but I felt like she was dominating the fight, and then I think it was the last round. She ended up getting submitted, and it was an armbar, I believe it was. From
the Russian.
Sorry.
From the Russian girl.
Yeah, she fights. Is it Kaizo? She fights out in Ireland.
Yeah, she was good, man. Wrestling, she was just trying to wrestle the full fight.
Yep. But it shows you like that fight obviously it looked one-sided to me, and then obviously she's turned it around and submitted her. And Just when you were saying about grabbing the cage, I can't remember you taking a point from someone for grabbing the cage on that show.
That was that.
Aye. Um,
That was right, and I seen a few people like moaning and that about it, but see at the end of the day, I had warned once. I'm not going to warn a second time.
aye.
You know, second time as well, there was a position that was the exact situation I was talking about. So the position was reversed because of the grabbing the cage. You need to then stand up, reset the fighters. You can't give somebody an advantageous position because of a foul move. You know.
Aye, absolutely. And do you think it gives you, obviously, being a fighter yourself, gives you a different perspective getting in there and reffing, knowing that you've been in the other side of it in the cage? So do you think that actually adds to you being a referee?
Aye, I think it's a massive advantage because you understand how fighting works.
Yep.
It's not to say that you wouldn't understand how fighting works as somebody that watches it. I mean, I'm sure some of the best referees in the world have never actually fought before. But it definitely gives you a good understanding. Like maybe you give guys that, like for instance, here's a good example. So Chris Duncan fought Lucas. He got caught in a horrible armbar, right? Now I know Chris Duncan. I know both the guys for being in the scene. Chris Duncan is a guy that gives everything to his training, right? So this is a guy that's absolutely obsessed, trying to make it all the way. And it was a big fight for him. It was a title fight for him against a good guy. Now, he got caught in a clean armbar. His arm was getting bent in some really bad positions. Some referees would have stopped that. Now, knowing that how much he's put into that, there's no way that I'm going to stop that fight unless he taps out. Unless I see his arm physically pop, then I'll stop the fight. But just because it was like in a really bad spot, just because it was a really bad spot, that's not a reason to stop the fight. Whereas some people they get a bit scared. So especially having that knowledge of jiu-jitsu and knowing he's still fighting out of this, he's got a chance to get out here, and he did. He got out and then won the fight. You know, so decisions like that are kind of borderline, and it makes you think, no, I done a good job tonight. Right. You know, another example where one of my brother's early losses was the opposite. You know, a guy got in mount for him. For about 5 seconds, and all it was is his gum shield was badly fitted, and his gum shield had fell out. Now, the ref stopped it to put his gum shield in, and I think he just kind of panicked and went rather than like just say like put your gum shield back in. He just went and called the fight.
Aye.
And to me, it was a really, really bad stoppage at the time. Stevie was raging, but it was a case of once the decision's been made, it doesn't make a difference anymore. Do you know what I mean? So you're as well just being classy and you can't do anything about it. But that was definitely annoying because Stevie put a lot into it, and Stevie's another guy as well that if you're going to beat him, you should really have to beat him. You know, you need to beat him. You know, you need to either knock him out or submit him because he's not going to quit because you're punching him. You know what I mean? And I just feel the level that amateurs are at, like, and how much amateurs put into their fights these days, you need to give them that chance and you need to give them the opportunity. You can tell if a guy doesn't want to fight anymore. You can see in their eyes rather than just like their gum shield falling out or something like that.
It sort of give you an appreciation as well of how difficult the ref's job is, because you're saying there is decisions that are borderline, and you can make the right decision, but very easily it could be the wrong decision. Which
well, that as well. Actually, there was one where Kieran Reid was actually fighting. He was fighting. I think he was an Irish boy or something like that. But the guy was just very muscular, quite a powerful guy, and he was overwhelming Kieran quite a bit at first. Now, there was like the fight was very close to being stopped. So he was landing strikes on Kieran and stuff like that. Kieran was he was covering up and he was doing his best, but he definitely was a bit rocked. He threw like a Hail Mary kind of front kick to the body, and it was I actually thought it was low initially, and I've not really said this to many people, but I thought it was low initially, and it definitely wasn't. And I've rushed in. So Kieran's jumped up stats. The guy's dropped as soon as he's landed it. I've rushed in thinking it was a low blow and said to the guy, "Are you all right? Can you continue?" Thinking it was a low blow. You've got time. And the guy went, of course I can't fucking continue. He kicked me in the stomach. He winded me. So the guy's actually fucking. I was jumping in thinking it was low,
Aye.
and I had actually jumped down. The fight's not over yet, but it turns out it was, and because the guy had actually said to me, and it was just that just shows how like a slight, maybe a couple of inches, that notice. You know, I've just not had my vision in the right place at the time. So that was one. Like if had I made the wrong call, I'd have been raging myself. But I was happy that I knew that I'd made the right call there, and it all ended up good in the end. But I'd have been so annoyed with myself if I'd gave that guy time, and you know, the fight had went a different way, or the wrong result had ended up because of it.
It's good, but it's good that the fighter was sort of honest with you about it as well, and didn't try and play it up. So that certainly helps. So do you as a fighter then, going the other way about it, do you get anything out of reffing that benefits you as a fighter?
Nah, I don't think so.
No, it just gives you a different perspective
If
watching it.
Probably a bad thing. It makes you a wee bit more compassionate. That's a bit. There's no room
and
for me.
we'll get James Dillon. You've probably seen the comment. Mind that time your brother was getting interviewed on here. What was that banging noise coming from the next room? Care to elaborate on that?
Nah, definitely not.
No, right, okay. Right, and
I don't live with my brother.
We'll get your brother here saying, would you say that your grappling's as good from Dad sharpshooting you when you were wee?
That was my torture growing up. Stevie would pretend I'd battered him, start crying, and then he'd run through and get my dad. Then my dad would batter me, put me in a sharpshooter. Stevie'd kick me in the face.
Inside the younger brothers. So
probably Barry would batter me.
One thing as well we would like to do here is a wee round of quick fire questions with you. So I'll just fire off the questions. You give me a name and give me a reason, and it's just from any gym you're training at the moment, higher level or anywhere else. Right. So the first question is, who's the best dressed person you train with?
Pardon?
Who's the best dressed person you train with?
Definitely no Callum Murray.
So, who's the worst dressed then?
All right, well, we can reverse that then. My wee brother dresses quite well. He's helped me out a bit with the fashion, to be honest. Like I used to kind of struggle with the fashion a wee bit, but then I think I've took it a wee step further than him.
So you're
Stevie just Stevie likes to wear what the trends are, what everybody else is wearing.
So you took it a step further and you're overshadowing them now then?
I'll take a wee risk. I'll wear one of the fucking denim jackets with the fur and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I'll take a wee gamble. You know what I mean? But
will your ego really?
I don't play.
Will you really go for it and go for double denim?
Aye, double denim. There's Stevie talked about the old Burberry Timbys I used to have. I used to be writing at the Burberry. I liked the Burberry when I was young. I had the Burberry skip cap and that. You know what I mean?
It was a thing. Quite a lot of folk went for it. So worst dressed then?
That's going to be Callum, man.
I'm pretty sure you're not the first one to say that doing these quickfire questions. Why does Callum's name come up then for worst dressed?
Likes, you know what I mean? I respect that.
And who's the most vain in the gym?
Stevie's pretty vain, like.
Aye.
Stevie's pretty vain. Aye, 100%. Stevie's see when you see with people drive, like what drives people and stuff like that. Stevie's, I think that drives Stevie a wee bit maybe. Who else have we got? Don't know if Jaggy's vain. He's in some shape. He's a big sexy bastard. I've not seen him for a while, but he's in some shape anyway when he's fighting.
Lee Jaggy Johnson.
Lee Johnson. But I don't think he's actually that vain. But he kept himself in good shape. There's nobody that vain, to be honest, actually, when I think about it.
What about then, who's the best dancer?
Probably Mowgli. Mowgli's quite a good dance. No, Justin, in fact. Justin by a mile. Justin's the best
Justin
dancer.
Flanagan.
Aye, Justin Flanagan. Aye, he's really good.
Right, and
He's fast.
who's the toughest in the gym?
Mm. Oh, fucking Jamie Nolan, man. I've not trained with him for a while, but Jamie, I need a big shout out to Jamie Nolan. Like, he's one of the toughest people I've ever trained with in my life. It's a fucking absolute waste that he's no fighting. He's got a lot of injuries and stuff like that, but he's one of the toughest people I've ever trained with in my life, to be honest.
Did
Do you know Jamie Nolan?
did Jamie no train with his brother as well in Wishaw for a while with Dean Caldwell?
Graham Armstrong and that. They're all tough as fuck, man. They're really good guys to train with. Danny Henry as well, man. See that full gym? They're all really tough. I'm trying to switch upside down. Hopefully it works. Danny Henry is one tough guy. See, like, I think Danny's one of the guys that you're okay with a round, but if you were to do like 2, 3, anything like that rounds with him, he's just going to weigh on you. There's guys like that are just. But Nolan especially, and Nolan stands out as being especially tough. Like, you could probably hit him with a bat or something like that, and he's just going to go, keep going. He doesn't care.
and a very, very impressive showing in his last fight.
Aye, Nolan's an animal, man. Honestly, I would love it if he still fought. He's fun to seeing him even in sparring when he starts going to work with his hands and stuff. Nolan's fun.
It's been a while. I'm sure Jamie and his brother trained. I'm sure they used to train down in Wishaw with Dean Caldwell years ago.
Aye, that.
Martelly
They all
at the time.
The Dean, but they've been training at higher for a long time as well. Graham Armstrong and that as well. Graham's a big tough fucker. He just comes into sparring, talk to anybody.
As you do. And so who's the hardest hitter in the gym?
Honestly, they all hit pretty hard. Like, no, a bit, but without a doubt, Stuart Graham. I mean, he's the biggest, but Stuart Graham. One time, Stuart Graham hit me with a straight left, and it knocked me like from one side of the cage right across the cage, like I done a backflip, tumbling backflip. Actually, my tooth's still a bit fucked there.
Well, aye, that's so you know we want to get caught like that again off him then.
Aye, he just hits. He's very big and very fast. Moves really well. But for like guys my weight, like my brother hits really hard. Stevie Ray hits really hard. Martin Delaney hits really hard. All those guys hit hard.
And who's the laziest in the gym? Who takes the longest to get out for the warm ups and stuff like that?
Honestly, in that gym, there's no really anybody. I could probably see who the hardest work or everybody works hard, but something that stood out to me when I first went through was I remember Graham Turner was training for his Cage Warriors bout. I think it was when he was going to fight for the belt, which is it's quite annoying because he's an absolute animal, and unless you've trained with Graham Turner or seen like how hard he works, he should have been in the UFC for sure. But Graham Turner, like we were all doing like circuits and stuff like that to warm up. Graham done them with a weight vest on. I think it was 20 kilos or something like that, and he was still faster than everybody else.
See,
you know, so you can.
See when you see guys like that doing things like that in the gym, does that just add extra motivation to you?
Brilliant, nice. Being around people like that, that's seeing guys like that, it's a great thing. See, to be honest, my whole 4 years I spent at higher levels, the best experience I've ever had for MMA. I've learnt more about martial arts in that time and met like the stable of fighters and the people there. Like honestly, everybody ends up closer than brothers. And people think, I don't know if people think just because like we're always putting up things on Facebook and stuff like that, and that maybe it's put on, but it's just natural. Like everybody just because you train so hard together, everybody ends up like a family. Do you know what I mean? Everybody is genuinely like thick as can be. You know, thick as thieves, close as can be. You day in for each other. Do you know what I mean? Like when you've sparred that hard with guys and you've pushed yourselves as hard as we all pushed ourselves, you end up with a really tight bond with people, and you probably have that for the rest of my life. You know, I've got ultimate respect for everybody I've ever trained with there. And that goes for the amateur fighters, because the amateur fighters train just as hard as the pro fighters.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They don't get in the team, they're not training as hard as the pro fighters. So there's guys through there, and you see their work ethic, you see their hunger. We guys like Logan McConaughey, you see guys like that, and those guys, Kunle Lawal as well. Kunle came through with me when I first started training at higher level. You see guys like that, and they're sparring pros. These are guys that if they want to go all the way, they'll go.
And I'll finish up the quickfire, and then there's a couple of other things I want to speak to you about. Just the last quickfire question is, who's the longest in the shower?
Well, most of us don't shower, to be honest. Most of us just fire the gear on and head back.
Air fresheners in the car?
I mean, I just get fucking showered when we get home. See, the thing is, whenever you're training through there, like we stay in Alloa, which is 45 minutes away. You finish training at 9:30, it's going to be 10:15 by the time you get home, and then you're up for work in the morning, So the time you get showered, and it's time to sleep.
You were mentioning obviously a couple of names here, the amateur guys coming through. When you look at the amateurs now versus when you started, how much of a difference do you see in the lecture?
Totally different game. Completely different game. When I started fighting very quickly. Between 3 and 6 months, I started fighting, and when I look now, all I had was a half decent leg kick, a decent jab, and a good armbar, and it won me a few fights. In fact, my last 3 wins in Alloa were all by armbar in under 2 minutes. So when I look at the tools that the guys have got now, like most amateurs nowadays, the only thing I would say is I think sometimes when I just see amateurs in general, sometimes I think they're looking at the fancy stuff a wee bit too much, and it's nice that they can do stance switching stuff and all that, but I would like to see more people like spending time in boxing gyms and actually properly boxing first and understanding like the mechanics of a jab, the mechanics of a straight right, getting the proper mechanics right first before they start messing about with the dropping your hands stuff and the all that kind of stuff. Having some solid fundamental Muay Thai sparring before branching off into the other stuff. I think sometimes when guys are learning the fancy stuff maybe earlier, they're some of the more fundamental stuff like punching power. Like for instance, my first boxing coach had me throwing a jab for about 2 years before he started working on my right hand.
It's funny you say that. I can't recall where I listened to this. It was just recently, and that's exactly what they were talking about. They were seeing guys in the cage throwing spinning back kicks, question mark kicks, but they could throw them, but couldn't throw a straight a jab right. So they couldn't throw a jab then a straight right, say. So do you think that's something that guys should be focusing on? Just get the fundamentals down first before you start looking at doing fancy stuff for that. It's just the chances of landing a straight jab are better than obviously.
Because the ranges are different and the pressure, like the feeling that you have when you spar at different ranges is completely different. Like you'll get guys, like especially guys from Taekwondo backgrounds and stuff, that are very, very happy and very comfortable at kicking range, but then you get some guys that aren't comfortable at all at punching range. So the only way you're going to get yourself comfortable doing that is by spending a lot of time boxing, really, and getting yourself comfortable at that kind of boxing range. And if you just never do it and you shy away from it, then at some point it's going to get exposed in a fight. So you need to at least get yourself at a point where, should it come down to that you can spend that time. When you hear Dominic Cruz talks about it all the time, like watching what guys' primary systems are. So whether guys are comfortable, like everybody has a primary thing that they are quite happy doing, and that's when they're comfortable. So whether that be sparring at range or striking at kicking range or boxing at punching range or in close, or you'll get guys that are just happy in a clinch, like Greco-Roman style guys or guys wrestling. They're comfortable, or some guys just comfortable when they're playing jiu-jitsu off their back, and that's what they automatically revert to. And that's their primary thing that they like to go to when they get tired.
Yeah, I would agree. Just lastly, we'll let you go after this, Craig. I wanted to ask you, obviously the fight's not too far away now. Have you just looking at that fight on its own, or have you got a plan or any goals you want to achieve for the rest of the year, or is it just purely about the 12th of May at the moment?
just about that, man. Aye, just about that one fight. Just going to enjoy the fight. That's it. Um, I just fighting because it's an hour one. I want to enjoy myself and have I miss fighting. You know, I miss it really badly. I want to go out and challenge myself, test myself. The cutting less weight is better for me. Yeah, I've always wondered like what I'd feel like a wee bit heavier because in the gym I always feel really good when I'm bigger, obviously, and that's even against bigger opponents. And when I've been competing in grappling, I've been competing at 80 kilos or 75 kilos, and you know at 75 kilos I'm pretty much just submitting everybody within a minute. You know that's like black belt guys, everything. You know brown belt guys just been doing really, really well in these competitions. And when I'm losing, I'm only losing by a point or two or whatever. So when I'm competing when I've been competing at under 75, I've felt brilliant. And understand you need to cut a wee bit extra when it comes to MMA. It's a wee bit different when there's striking involved and stuff. But I think it's a good weight for me.
Perfect. Well, thanks very much for giving us some of your time. I know a lot of people will be glad to see you getting back in the cage. For people I speak to in the local scene, you're a very popular guy and you're highly thought of. So, best of luck in the 12th of May, mate. And just before we let you go, is there anything you want to give a shout out to, any sponsors, anything at all like that before we get you off, mate?
I've not really sorted sponsors for this fight or anything like that, but I want to give a shout out to anybody that sponsored me in the past because I really do appreciate it. It's always helped. Naomi from Spasm Therapy, she's actually going to be seeing me tomorrow to get me get some work done and get sorted out basically, and she's always kind of helped out with that kind of stuff. Stevie for the care, and there's been a bunch of guys that have kind of helped me out over the years. Kev Paxton was involved in Muay Thai as well, and guys that have, so anybody that's ever sponsored me in the past, I just want to say thanks for that. So yeah, that's been a big help. There was something else I was going to give a shout out. What was that? I just forget. Oh, I like the Singing Ninjas page. That's one as well. Make sure you get on and like the Singing Ninjas page, because that's my primary focus is to make it all the way in the music industry.
I'll definitely be going and liking that as soon as we're done here, mate.
Bye. That's pretty much
it. Well, thanks again for coming on. And like I say, best of luck in the 12th of May.
Chris Megan as well. He sponsored me for many years. He was a guy. Those guys, Santa Cruz Custom Tattoos and Stirling. So appreciate all those guys that have helped us out over the years as well. I'm just looking forward to getting it fight.
Thanks again, mate.
Cheers, thanks very much. Take it easy.
Bye. Bye. Right, guys. So obviously that was Craig McIntosh. Just again, Craig's fighting on at night 2. That's at Alloa Town Hall, and that's on the 12th of May, guys. As always, if you enjoy the videos we put up at MMA UK, please like and share our Facebook page. Hop over to Twitter and Instagram and follow us there. That's at WeAreMMA UK, and also jump onto our YouTube channel and subscribe there. Thanks very much for joining us. Until the next time, bye.